Today, going over to the Culture Proud podcast, you have Bud Light. Find your bracket does not find many favorable comments. Now, this is because, and this is in no way association with the Mad Hatter from, what was it, Alice in Wonderland. There's a phenomenon known as March Madness, which I don't think has anything to do with, what was that movie with Adam Sandler, where it was all about him having to deal with anger management with Jack Nicholson. Oh, is it really just called Anger Management, the movie? It might be that cliche. Nevertheless, it has to do with sports ball known as basketball, where colleges will make billions of dollars in advertising, and the players, I think now that they could legally get paid, get about $18. And in education, which is worth probably about $18. Now, Bud Light, they're trying to come back. It's fascinating because most Americans, we believe in the great comeback story. Who doesn't like that? You're down on your luck, you turn things around. But with Bud Light, they never admitted fault. I think Brendan Whitworth, the former CIA operative, now CEO of Anheuser-Busch, they did a half lackluster apology, not really addressing the elephant or the Dylan Mulvaney in the room. And the sales really have not recovered, usually about 30% down week over week, and compared to the same fiscal period prior to the Dylan Mulvaney controversy, which ironically or hilariously started April 1st, 2023. Now, in this case, it's the Bud Light X Twitter profile, and it simply says in text, "Find your bracket." And it's a picture of someone perhaps doing the safest thing on the planet. They're actually holding a can of Bud Light, but they're pouring it out. Now, it doesn't show you where the liquid is going. Now, presumably that could cause snails or other animals to die if you were to fall on the ground, or it might destroy your grass because it's so toxic. But it appears as if they're literally just pouring out beer. Now, interestingly enough, some people did like it. Not a lot to compare to who saw it. And that wasn't great either. They only got 13.5 thousand views, which, again, for a multi-billion-dollar brand is basically nothing. They only got 205 likes. And, of course, there are censored comments that we'll go over in a New York minute. And, again, it really doesn't tell me... If they didn't say bracket in the text, I would not associate with this with sports balls. I mean, they say find your bracket, and thanks to the Google, I know that, or more accurately, Brave Search, I know that has to deal with the March Madness, where people they attempt to see what college will actually make it to the final, the Final Four? I'm sure that's a song as well. And they say, who's going to win this? Well, really the advertisers win, and the colleges win because they make like $1 billion in advertising on average, which, again, good for the colleges. Why the heck not? That's easy money. People are tuning in to watch the sports balls. Why not capitalize it? Now, again, they're just pouring out the Bud Light can. Now, I guess it is unusual for a Bud Light commercial. The fingernails are not painted in any radical color. A little unusual with that. But it's not really compelling me to go out and buy Bud Light. It doesn't tell me... I mean, I'm surprised. Again, they're usually good at... Well, not good at much, but they usually associate with some type of sweepstakes or some type of compelling action. Again, when it comes to marketing and advertising, you have the cliche, oh yeah, we're just building the brand, which is very difficult to measure. Now, you also have advertising where the main point is to drive action. And again, Bud Light's done that before, trying to buy back some favors, saying we'll give you a free case of Bud Light if you retweet with a picture of you, which, for marketing, that makes sense. It's also a hilarious way to see how little someone's dignity is worth, where they would take a picture of themselves holding a Bud Light in a futile attempt to win a case of Bud Light, which, incidentally, is also a great example of someone being a winner and a loser at the same time. Truth be told, I don't know what I would do if I actually won a case of Bud Light. Truth be told, I prefer spirits in general if the occasion calls for it. But I think my favorite example I've thought of in real time on the show is if you're to win a case of Bud Light, you could use it as ballast if you're a hot air balloonist. So if you go up a hot air balloon and you need to have the balloon go higher, you could actually cut off the case of Bud Light from the little basket you're in, and it would fall to the ground, thereby making your weight lighter. You can fly up higher. However, the case of Bud Light would then plummet to the earth. It could, however, be detrimental, hit someone in the head, which may cause less damage than if they were to actually consume the product. I'm just saying that's one of the very few examples of what I could think of when I think of what would I do if I won a case of Bud Light. I mean, again, just having a futile attempt to improvise right now, I can't help but think you might be able to use it as a drain declogger, perhaps maybe as a moderately organic alternative to Drano, because it's so viscerally disgusting, it would actually unclog the clumps of hair and other ungodly things that are in your drainage. Or, again, it could be a good theft deterrent. If you put that on your front porch, no one's going to rob you because they inherently just feel so sorry for you. I mean, dear God, this gentleman has to, maybe he left this outside. Maybe he has to drink it. I mean, heaven forbid. That actually might be a good way to thwart some kind of like a scarecrow for thieves. Put there's just a case of Bud Light on your little home porch. It might be a good way to drive away anyone who has a modicum of taste buds. But I partially digress. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the comments are so compelling. This is such a great advertisement. Everyone's saying, hooray for Bud Light. We're going to go out and buy cases of it. I mean, probably not, but let's dive in and find out. One of the first ones comes from Cell B7, says, I don't need it in my bracket. I need it in my cooler today, unquote. Someone like that. Now, interestingly enough, Bud Light, it almost seems like they did something right, which, again, is might have to take a screenshot and mail this to the CIA operative, former CIA operative, now CEO of Bud Light, send him a screenshot saying, hey, you actually did a good job somewhat here. Because Bud Light, I think, liked it, and Bud Light responded saying, you know where to find us, unquote, which some type of parade is where you'd probably find Bud Light. Now, this is kind of suspicious. Going to Cell B7's profile, I can't but wonder, is this a Twitter employee or more accurately, a Bud Light employee? Like, why is someone saying, I don't need it in my bracket, they need it in their cooler? So apparently this gentleman wants Bud Light in his cooler. I suppose you could freeze the Bud Light and then it could be a good replacement for ice. That's conceivable. But going to his profile, Mr. Selby is from Chicago. Interestingly enough, he's alive. That's a rare thing in Chicago. Let's see here. And he has 148 followers. He wants to win a Chicago Bears helmet. That'll be worth a lot someday. It's funny because, no. Like the city of Chicago, the Bears will be good next year. I'm told. Well, they said it for decades. But yeah, next year will be their year. Defense is important, is what they say. Yeah, no. So scrolling down, he wants to win helmets for Cleveland. What is this? Cleveland, some type of team there. Wants to win popcorn. What? And he wants to win, Bud Light products. All Bud Light. Retweeting for darn near every Bud Light. So perhaps he's just mentally vacuous. Perhaps he just wants free anything. But yeah, I don't think it's, maybe he is a true mentally vacuous fan. Perhaps. You also have Crystal Davis saying, quote, crazy number 14 beating number 3. It doesn't even sound like a human. Bud Light responded saying, this is March. Yes, it is March. That is technically correct, Bud Light. No one liked the Bud Light comment, nor Crystal's comment. Crystal has 47 followers and wants to win a Capri Sun and Nintendo Switch, as well as the Jolly Green Giant. Now, truth be told, that is an excellent product. Good for you. I've never heard of anyone saying, hey, I want to win a sweepstakes to win a Jolly Green Giant produce. They also want to win, what is this, Beatbox? The heck is this? A whiskey velocity in a pouch? Then they want to win Kids Bop, that's still a thing. They want to win PCs, other computers. So I would say someone who just wants free stuff, not really a fan of Bud Light. And I don't know, there might be one or two of them in the real world. And those are the first top 2 comments out of 50. They appear to be neutral, if not mentally vacuous, but they appear to maybe be real. Now, let's go to the ones that actually get real likes. One comes from Aceton Dirus Actual. Perhaps I'm butchering that, but they say, quote, last month, Anheuser-Busch InBev said revenue in the U.S. market declined by 9.5% in 2023 and dropped 17.3% in the fourth quarter, with sales to retailers down 12.1%, primarily due to the volume decrease of Bud Light. Let's see here. It continues saying, quote, U.S. volumes are also weaker than expected, falling 15.3% in the fourth quarter. Won't change until you apologize, unquote. And that got 5 likes. Scrolling down, you have a lot of memes from Jack Decker, which, okay, it's a picture of a Ford truck, and it says, sorry about your height, and the truck is lifted, so perhaps it's an insinuation that you're compensating. You have the guy with the ponytail with the very short haircut on the sides. It says, sorry about your bald spot. You have a Porsche that says, sorry about your private part, and the Bud Light says, sorry about your gender delusion. Now, no one liked that, but that is one of a lot of his memes. Jack Decker is very busy. Now, Steve Davis says, quote, perfect picture getting dumped, unquote, getting 11 likes, which, yes, it's true. The picture looks like you're just pouring the Bud Light to somewhere, presumably the ground, which you could argue is the safest place for Bud Light. Jackson says, quote, the only way to have a Bud Light, pouring it out on the ground, unquote, getting 9 likes. Milo SOM383 said, for the Q, LOL, though he did use a pejorative gay slur for that, and it got 13 likes. Nightshade says, yes, dump it out, it sucks, unquote, though they spelled sucks, S-U-X. So grammar be damned, they still got 8 likes. Just Exposed All says, just say 2 words now, it says 4 likes. Larry Parler simply has a gif of a dumpster bursting in flames, getting 9 likes. Let's see here. You also have EDRT saying, quote, pouring the training fluid out, getting 3 likes. Let's see. You have Logic and Reason having a gif of Dylan Mulvaney saying, normalize the bulge, we are the bulge. Again, Dylan Mulvaney is a trans activist who, again, controversially enough, even in that community, never got the surgery that many of them considered necessary for the transition. And is Dylan Mulvaney wearing tight shorts and a crop top, which hasn't been fashionable since the 90s, yet alone in this situation. They got 11 likes. Let's see. Historic Vids simply has a gif of a man looking like he's about to throw up, getting 5 likes. Based Hairbo says, quote, Bud Light showing you how to pour it down the garbage drain, getting 3 likes. Edward Thatch says, pouring piss into the wind, unquote, getting 3 likes. Let's see here. Julia Broderick says, right under the ground, wise choice, unquote, getting 2 likes. As youth might say, they got ratio to say the least. Apollo simply says, go woke, go broke, or rather a meme of that, getting 2 likes. Now, interesting enough, it says, here's that button that says, this might be sensitive, so we're obviously going to click it for the bonus stuff. And someone simply said, I needed that. And then Bud Light did respond. They didn't like that, but Bud Light said, we're here for you. Which, I can't help but wonder how sad your life is if you need a beer company to be there for you. You also have Robert Higgins saying, quote, this validated X's rules against hateful conduct. So it's super spicy. Perhaps let's click the button and see what happens. So I say click the view button, and he said pour it on a tranny weirdo. Did not get any likes, and it was super censored, but that was what was there. Now going to the very top, we can go to the ones that Bud Light specifically chose to censor, or hide in this case. If we click that bonus button, we have Muttley Facts, and it says, this is the only trans fluid I want, clown emoji. And interestingly enough, is a picture of Valvoline, but there's an extra branding on it that says #1 ATF brand. Oh, automatic transmission fluid. I don't even know why they make this stuff. As we all know, the best transmissions, by default, are manual transmissions. They have 3 pedals. So that's the only transmission fluid I'd ever buy. Now, that did get 6 likes, despite it being an automatic transmission fluid. You also have Trini Kwan saying, quote, nice piss water, getting 2 likes. And a couple more memes from Mr. Jack Decker. So, needless to say, this Bud Light tweet fell flat. Flatter than their beer, some might say and argue. Because, again, it doesn't compel you to go buy it. It doesn't really change your perception of it. Again, Americans worship sports teams or sports balls. They could have at least said something like, what's your favorite sports team? To make it try to have some type of moderately interactive engagement. They're just saying, for your bracket. Maybe they're insinuating you're a loser because they're pouring the beer out onto your bracket, insinuating that you chose the wrong sports balls teams to make it to the final 2, 3, or 4, 6, whatever they call it. I mean, maybe, which is even less compelling, gives you less of a reason to buy and support the brand. And I can't help but think, again, we're not seeing the pendulum swing back when it comes to the Bud Light business blunder of the century, hiring Dylan Mulvaney for $185,000, then losing $1.4 billion in sales, which perhaps is the greatest negative ROI in history when it comes to a marketing initiative. I haven't been able to think of anything that's greater than that didn't put the company out of business. You could also argue those are bigger business blunders because they bankrupt the companies. But in terms of something that had a negative effect on the business that wasn't negative enough to make them go out of business, can you think of anything else that have been that much of a hit, swing and a miss, so to say? As always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment, or sharing the video is a great way to assist me, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.